Hey everybody, Mike Iaconelli back out here in the shop to give you some more goods. I've got a simple one for you right now, but it's really effective and presents the lure in a really unique way. And today, we're going to be talking about the MJ rig, also known as the spinner jig rig. It's crazy because when you look at this, it seems so simple, but when you watch it in the water, it really does have a unique action. To me, it really, the appeal and draw of it is the flash that we're going to have on the back of this bait, but also the fact that the bait tracks very true. So you have a lure with almost no motion, very natural, straight movement, but you have a little flash and vibration behind the lure. Really unique way to fish this style of bait. We're going to start with the lure, and just use your favorite soft stick bait. I like the Berkley Power Bait General. I use both the 5.25 and also I use the smaller one, the 4.5. On either one, it's going to be a perfect worm. You basically like the stick worm because you want the bait straight and you want a big fat blunt end in the back to put the spinner that we're going to talk about right now. Next thing is spinners. The great thing about these little spinners is they sell them like this. You can buy them straight from, say, Tackle Warehouse, already assembled. Different blade colors, different blade styles, Colorados, Indianas, Willows, and they already come with that little tiny, what I call screw lock or a hitchhiker on it. But the other great thing about it is you can also make these yourself. You've got plenty of blades laying around. You've got some swivels, some barrel swivels. And of course, they sell these hitchhikers separately. So you can assemble these. You could buy them pre-assembled, whatever you want. So you got your blades. And then last but not least is a jig head. And the basic two styles of jig heads that I use is I use a head by VMC called a rugby head. Everything from a 1/16 ounce all the way up to a quarter. And the thing I like about the Finesse rugby head is it's got a 90-degree line tie on it. And that helps keep this bait tracking true. And I use that weedless style jig head when I'm fishing around cover. If I'm around wood or docks or grass, I like this because I can Texas rig the bait and keep it weedless. And then the other jig head I use is just a standard what I call, a blunt end jig head. This is a VMC Finesse Half Moon. Same thing, comes in a lot of sizes from a 1/16 all the way up to a 3/8. And this jig head also has a 90-degree line tie, a line tie that's straight up and down, 90 degrees. That helps keep the bait nice and straight. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to get our soft stick bait. And I'll rig up both of them for you so I can show you both with a smaller one and the bigger one. This is the 4.5 Berkley Power Bait General. And when I thread it on this open jig head, I'm basically going to thread it skinny end first. Okay, so there's my fat end of my stick bait. There's my skinny end. And I'm going to thread it on there skinny end first. And I'm literally just threading it on, just like I would a swim bait or just like I would a grub. Just want to make sure that worm's nice and straight, okay? Almost looks like a Ned rig, right? Now I'm going to turn it around. There's that fat blunt end that I was talking about. And now I'm going to get my little spinner, either one I bought prepackaged or one you can make yourself. And now all I'm going to do is screw it straight into the fat end of that stick bait. Look at that corkscrew straight in. Just that little hitchhiker screwing straight into the back of that bait. Just like to keep it nice and straight. Okay, keep that thing nice and straight. And there we go. There we go. We've got the MJ rig, the spinner jig rig, and we can do the same thing with our little rugby head. The only thing I do with the bigger one, I'll take one out of the pack and I'll show you. This is the 5.25. I want to rig it skinny end first. I bite just a little bit off of that skinny end, just a little tip of it, and then I'm going to go ahead and do my standard Texas rig. There's that rugby head. Go in about 1/8 of an inch. Pull it out. Go around the bend of that hook. Rig it Texas style. Push it through a couple times. And again, I just want to make sure that bait is nice and straight. Now when I turn that one around, there's my fat end. On this one, I got a little bit bigger silver style spinner. It's a real great bait fish or shad imitation. And there it goes. I'm going to corkscrew it straight into the fat end of that bait. Look at that. Making sure it's nice and straight. Go down all the way. Make sure that thing's nice and straight. And there we go. Now we have a weedless, snagless version of the MJ rig, aka spinner jig rig. Let's look at it in the tank, and I'm going to show you why this thing is so key for fish. And watch this straight movement in this. Look at that. Look at that blade. Look at that blade spinning. And it's more subtle than a chatterbait. It's more subtle than a spinnerbait. It's more subtle than a crankbait. But the other key is it's got a little bit of flash and a little bit of vibration. But look at how that jig head keeps that bait running very straight. Almost like a spy bait. Almost like a Ned rig off the bottom. And I reel this thing slow. I'll let it fall and hop it. And then pull it. And you'll get that same tail movement. Look at it on the flutter. Look at it on the flutter. Perfect for attracting fish, especially places where they've seen a million spinnerbaits, they've seen a million crankbaits. Come through with the MJ rig, either rigged exposed or rigged weedless. Come through with that MJ rig, aka spinner jig rig, and see what happens. You're going to get bites you can't get with a traditional spinnerbait or traditional crankbait. Let me tell you, if things get tough, but you want a little bit of flash and vibration, give it a try. The MJ rig, aka spinner jig rig, straight from the shop.